Hey guys, welcome back to my food forest. It is April now, which means it is time for an April food forest tour. This month really has had so much new growth, has seen so much new growth in the food forest. The trees are bringing back their leaves, we have some buds, a whole bunch of stuff, and this month I'm sharing with you how I'm going to fertilize my fruit trees for the very first time using my worm castings from our own worms. So let's get going and I will show you exactly what has been going on this month in the food forest. Alright, so first things first, I'm letting out our little chicks. They are actually not so little anymore. They are several months old now. These are actually the ones that we are growing for meat. I have a few that are just in the mix right now for colored eggs. So those ones will be put in our main chicken coop and integrated with the rest of our flock, but these ones are going to be specifically for meat when the time comes this summer to butcher them out. We do alternate letting these ones out and letting our original flock out, our egg chickens, just because I want them to get used to each other before we ultimately let them out at the same exact time. They are doing really well and they are foraging and getting a whole bunch of worms and all of that good stuff for their diet. So I thought I'd show you guys what is also on the other side of our food forest. Alright, so our food forest. You can see there are quite a few weeds and overgrown stuff, not necessarily weeds, but you know, ferns and a whole bunch of other things that have made their way back in to the garden with the amount of rain that we have been having. I will end up having to do something because I don't want the grass and everything to be growing in the same space as our trees are, taking away nutrients from the soil and crowding them out and all of that. But in the meantime, they're good to be here as they are. I'm just gonna leave them in place until I can figure out a widespread solution, or you know, crowd them out with other plants or whatever it is. But the main thing that I do want to show you guys today, and you can see my reflection, is my worm tea. So this is aerated worm tea that has been brewing for the past, I think it's like 36 hours or so, and this is actually going to go at the base of all of our plants. I took my bubbler thing and aerated the worm castings in water, and so at the base of each of these plants there's a little lemon tree. I am going to just pour it directly into the soil, and hopefully that will bring in a whole bunch of nutrients and act as fertilizer for these trees. So first up is our fig tree. This fig tree has been doing ridiculously well with all the rain and I guess the sun and everything. I mean, it's just grown like you wouldn't believe. I mean, we have a whole bunch of little buds and everything and new leaves growing, if I can get this close to it. But yeah, I mean, there's just a ton of stuff going on with this tree, and hopefully this will grow another couple of feet this year. I mean, I'd like to get some fruits off of it. But first up for our worm tea is the fig. Now guys, I am a novice worm tea, worm farmer, worm whatever you want to call it. I have never used worm castings before, so I am really not sure how much to actually pour into the base of these trees. I'm just going to do whatever feels right for right now, because I have read that you can't really over fertilize with worm castings since it's such a natural ingredient to put back into the soil. Alright guys, so I actually think I got a tiny bit carried away and I used up all of my worm tea. Pretty much gone at this point. I managed to do 4 trees. This was probably about 4-ish gallons. It wasn't filled all the way to the top, maybe 3.5, 4 gallons worth. I don't know if it was that diluted or not. It wasn't like super dark in color, but I did our fig tree, I did our orange tree, I did our lemon tree, and I did our pomegranate tree, which is back there in the cage. I don't know if you can see it on camera. So at this point, I am gonna have to make more worm tea. I'm really not sure how much I was supposed to be putting in there, but I did what I felt was right, and I didn't want to like not use enough of it. So I have tons more worm castings. I only used like maybe a third of one of my little bags that I have, and I have 4 bags total. So I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna brew, well, not right now. After this, after I do my food forest tour, I'm gonna go home and brew more worm tea castings, and then come back and do it again and do our remaining trees. I do have one tree that is brand new that we ended up replacing, and so I would love to be able to fertilize that in place along with our guava tree, which has had some new growth. I'll show you right now, but it's not looking too hot. So that one I definitely want to get some worm castings and some fertilizer on it as soon as possible. Alright, so on to the rest of the food forest tour. In this space in between our fig tree and our orange tree, which definitely needs some weed control. If you guys remember, I had planted out these potatoes here, red potatoes. I'm not exactly sure what variety they are. They're from the supermarket, or they were from the supermarket, and I let them grow little buds on the countertop, and then I planted them out. They are these things here, which looks like something was taking some bites out of them. This is pretty much just an experiment. I have really not watered them. I think the first time I planted them in, I watered them. You can see something definitely chewed this one off, and then I think I maybe watered them one other time, but not too much, and then just with the rain. So I did get a little bit excited because the other day when I was in here, I just kind of pushed this away a little bit, and you can see, oh my gosh, I was so excited when I saw brand new, and I don't want to disturb all of these roots and stuff, so I'll stop, but brand new purple potatoes. These are not the ones that were in there that like went brown and dead and whatever. These are brand new, so oh my god, it's working. So I'll just cover that back up. I don't think we're gonna get tons of them, right, because we have a lot of pests, and I'm really not watering them on a consistent basis, but just to know that, you know, even if I get a few out of all of these, and I have some planted on the other side over there too, I mean, that's crazy. So I'm really looking forward to digging those up sometime soon. And then we have our orange tree, and so this little orange tree, actually it's doing really well, I would say, and it is growing a little bit. It's hard for me to tell because it kind of looks the same, and I am here like every oh my god, I thought that was a bug. Oh, it's not, it's just these little weeds of some sort. I have no idea. I think this is probably like grass of some sort, I'm not sure, but oh my god, I thought it was a bug. So anyway, this is doing really well. It's hard for me to tell because I come out here so often, so it seems like it looks the same, but I think it actually has gotten taller. It doesn't have any little buds or anything on it yet, but here's hoping that with some of the worm tea fertilizer that I just put in here, it'll do much better. And then on to our guava. So this actually had absolutely no leaves back when the frost came and hit it, but now, and I'm trying to get through this little cage here, but now it seems to be picking up. It does have green leaves. Some of them are kind of turning yellow. They don't really get like too dark green that I've seen, but I would like this to grow a little bit faster because I'm getting impatient for my guava. And so this is the next thing that I'm going to be adding my fertilizer onto. Maybe take some castings themselves even, and kind of just leave them in the soil as well. But that one has some new growth, not a ton. And then we have here our pomegranate, which actually, if you guys recall, this had a lot of new growth over the past couple months. It's basically a stick. When I bought it, Alan, my husband, thought I was a little nuts because it didn't have so much new growth on it. But look at this, tons of leaves and foliage, and I think it actually has even gotten a little bit taller. So I'm really happy with this. I'm really not sure exactly how to stake this. I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit more research on it because it's not like one trunk. It's like several of these branches coming out, and I know it is kind of like a short squatty tree, but I'm gonna have to stake this a little bit better. Alright, so in addition to actually maybe doing some control, all the bugs, in addition to doing some of the control on these weeds or like additional plants that I don't want necessarily in the space, the other thing that I am going to have to do now is stake these trees. And they do have all their individual stakes that came with the original tree, you know, when we planted it out, but I think what I'm going to have to do is maybe build some sort of supports to actually hold the tree in place, because the rope thing that I was doing with like these 6-inch spikes, it's not really working. A lot of the ones that I had put up got chewed through by maybe deer, I'm assuming, or the wind knocked them out, or whatever it is. So I'm gonna have to do a better job of staking, so don't judge me too hard. I know that I will have to stake them. One that I am actually really excited for is our lemon tree. It's been doing so well. I don't know if you guys remember, but when I first put this in, it was like a brown hot mess. It was really yellow and brown, and now we have tons of these bright green leaves everywhere. We actually have, if I can find it, some little lemons sprouting. That's a tiny baby one there, and then this one is a little bit bigger. Now there's not too many of them because I do suspect that some of the deer came through here and, you know, took some of these off. Some of the leaves some of the leaves on these, or like the little branches, are kind of deadheaded here, right above this like little line where the trellis or the little stake thing goes. So I'm not expecting too much out of this plant, but my main concern with this plant is just so that it continues growing, and I would like it to get taller is my main focus for this plant. It's, you know, kind of like bush level, and there's a ponderosa lemon tree. I really want it to get much bigger so that I can like actually pick lemons from it, instead of having to squat down every time I visit that tree. Moving up here to the north, I was really excited for this tree, and I still really love this tree. Of course, this is our Ufs Peach Tree, which is specially formulated for this growing season with a low chill hour requirement. Now, if you can see here, it was kind of deadheaded here, but it was not pest, or not pest, I want to say deer. It wasn't really deer. It was the wind, right? So a lot of the trees that we have here are really mature, and as you can see, a lot of the branches come down when there's like strong winds or whatever the case is, or storms, and we're getting a lot of wind and rain over the past few weeks. So this one definitely got hit, and so I did take the branch. It was maybe like a foot or so off of the top of that one. I took a branch off of that, and I am trying to root it. So hopefully we'll be able to get another little peach tree. I'm not sure because it was hardwood, if you can see, and I'll show you what I mean by hardwood. So this is like the green piece of it, that's softwood, but then things like this, that's definitely hardwood. And so it's easier to root things when they are soft and green. There was a little piece of it that I was able to take that was soft and green, so it'd be interesting to see which one roots faster, if they root at all. But hopefully I'll get another peach tree out of this, and you know, it'll do well. But yeah, no peaches for right now, and a whole bunch of missing leaves from the deer. So directly to the left of that tree, or sorry, to the right, to the right of that tree is our Mulberry Stick. It's not really a tree yet. I have hope, and I can't wait to see what this does with some fertilizer. It has been growing all of these new leaves at the base of the tree, which is really exciting. I think that's mostly because it's covered by this cage and the deer can't get to it. It did have several buds and stuff here, and you can see it does still have a little green bud coming out. This was taken off by some deer, and then that one as well is coming out. But we have some at the top here, some little green growth, and I'm excited to see if maybe we can actually get some, you know, some new leaves and for this to actually grow. This is definitely one that needs to be staked, and I'm not sure exactly how to make it not leaning, right? Like, so that's the stake. The one going straight up in the air is the stake, and then the one leaning off into the corner, that's the tree. So if you guys have any like suggestions on how to get that to not be that way, I don't know if I have to just completely take off that part of the tree or something. You can see I made a little knot there to try and get it to stake properly, but this is definitely one that has, you know, not gone very well with the staking. I did have these things here, so I had stakes with some twine, and they are kind of in the ground, making it lean to one side, but it doesn't seem to be working really well, and then the deer kind of come in here and bite that off. So this is definitely one I'm gonna have to figure out how to stake it. I would like to see this grow into a tree, and I've been told that they grow pretty fast, so we'll see once I, you know, get it together and actually stake it. Hopefully that's the case. And then moving south, kind of southeast here, is our Barbados cherry tree. This looked like a stick when I put it into the ground. It had lost all of its leaves, and honestly it was completely dried out because I didn't really water it as appropriate, but it actually has little buds on it. It had little buds before, and I'm not sure what happened to them. I don't know if deer came. I did see, and I'm trying to find it now because I think they're all green, but they had little flowers on them. It had little flowers on them, and I'm not sure exactly what happened to the flowers. So this one actually had fruit when I got it, so hopefully it'll come back up and produce a lot more fruit. I am very excited. If you're not familiar, these are Barbados cherries, the same as, I think it's pronounced Osceola cherries, which are amazing for vitamin C, and it's been growing foliage at the base of the plant, and it's just doing really well. So this one I am very excited for. Alright, guys, I'm trying to be careful where I step because I have been told by the neighbors there have been some some snakes along the edge of this property. That's the back of the property with the chicken coop and my car over there. But there have been a lot of snakes kind of here, and I respect that. Completely cool that they're here and warding off whatever unwanted pests, but I really don't want to come into contact with any of them, so I'm trying to be very careful on where I step. I do not particularly care for snakes. This is our Suriname cherry bush tree, whatever. I'm gonna try to train this up into an actual tree. It has been doing very well. It's all bright green again since I put it in, and the rain and the sun and everything. It's kind of like in this little back corner here. It's like that. I don't know if you can tell, some of the weeds are kind of poking through, but it's not really a tree yet. It's more of like a little twiggy bush type thing. That's like the base of it. So hopefully this will continue getting bigger. I know that this does grow into a tree, and actually I have had this pretty much for my entire life, because the house that I grew up in had a whole bunch of bushes, or really like a hedge of this planted, and you get so many cherries out of this tree. And this one I am particularly excited to share, because I remember saying on my March garden tour that I wasn't sure if this is actually ever going to grow leaves or not. It was just a tiny little stick, right? And the stick came to right there. You can see the stick, and then all of the new green growth. All of these are bright green, and now we even have some of these little buds, I'm assuming that they are. I have no idea. I've never seen anything like this. This is a Fuyu persimmon tree, and I'm assuming that all of these little bud type things here are fruit. I'm hoping that they're fruit. They don't look like leaves, so I'm gonna go with the fact that they're fruit. And I think that there was one, if I can find it. Yeah, this one has like a little bud or stem or something coming out of it. There was a little thing like this here, and then it went away, and that's what's left. So this has like little fuzzy leaves that they've been popping themselves up. I mean, this has literally been, in the past 2 weeks, it grew all of this. All of that has been in the past 2 weeks. It's probably a good 1.5 foot, I'm gonna say. I mean, and it just, every single time I'm here, there's new leaves on it. So I cannot wait to see what this tree does. All right, and we have to talk about this banana circle, guys. Oh my gosh. So we did come in here and clear out some of the stuff that was in the middle. You can see my compost here, so I don't forget to feed them. These two, right, I planted the one next to it here. That one grew up next to it, like out of nowhere. So I have not replanted them yet. This one is gonna go in that back corner over there. There's some bananas, and I'm gonna relocate that one over there. And then this one has been doing pretty well as well. I have absolutely no idea what kind of bananas these are. If you recognize it at all, let me know in the comments. Someone gave them to us, and I mean, I wasn't gonna throw them out, so we planted them, and so then new ones have like popped up next to it. And then these ones here are still tiny, and I'm not exactly sure why. There are also 2 of them here. That's one, and that's another one next to it. But those 2 are 2 as well, and they're doing really well. I'm not exactly sure. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, and then we'll come over here to our grapefruit. Our grapefruit has had some issues with the pest. As you can see, I'm trying to like make the cage bigger. So this is almost as tall as me. That was the original little cage, but the original cage was not preventing the deer from eating all of these. So you can see it's kind of lopsided, and that's okay. But all of these are brand new, since it has a little bit more protection now. Not much, because they are coming through. So I'm going to have to figure out how to get a bigger cage on this one, and maybe straighten it a little bit, because I don't want it to be leaning. But this grapefruit tree has had so much new growth with all of the water, like all of those light green leaves. You can tell that's a new growth. And next up is our mango tree, guys. So this is actually not the same mango tree as was here before. It is the same variety. It is a Valencia mango tree, and it is doing pretty well so far. We put this in probably a couple days ago, maybe almost a week ago now, and has some like tiny little new green growth, which I'm excited about. But yeah, the other one definitely died of the cold. It just froze over, and Alan was really hoping that it would come back up, and I was too, but I kind of knew it was gone. So we dug it up and put the mango tree inside of that same cage in the same place as it was previously, and all of this is new growth and new green grass. I did not originally realize that this space gets so much light, so I'm probably going to plant another tree over there, but it has to be something that can eventually take some shade, because this tree is going to grow massive, which is the goal. So it has to be something that can take some shade over there, even just partial shade. But this actually gets a ton of shade in the middle, but this actually gets a ton of sun in the middle of the day. And this is our Guanamana tree, which actually has gotten much taller since I planted it in the ground. You can barely reach the top of it now. This has lots of new little green leaves, and it also has like a whole bunch of little new buds coming through and little new, you know, sticks coming out. So this one I'm really excited about. It does lose all of its leaves in winter and then brings it back up. It does have some grass here, so I kind of cleared off the bottom of this a little bit ago. And this is actually where our little tree frog lives. I have this little tree frog that I constantly find on here. I don't see it now, but we actually came out here and this little tree frog likes this little nook and cranny right there. And so I am so excited that we're actually able to provide a habitat for these animals. I mean, that to me is the reason why I planted this. So, you know, besides getting a whole bunch of fruit. But hopefully this tree will actually get some fruit this year. It is about 3-ish years old, and I did plant it from seed, so we shall see. Alright, so this is our second little banana circle, and I do say circle. It is no longer just a little line. There's one banana, 2 bananas, and for the first time I'm actually seeing this as I'm filming this video, our third little banana came back. This was completely gone when I saw it last, but lo and behold, a little banana. It like just refuses to die. So I'm very excited about that. I'll probably end up taking the other one, the one I said I was going to transplant. I'll take that and put it somewhere else because we actually have a third banana here. So I'm really excited. I am watching my step very closely because this is where all of these snakes kind of, I'm assuming, live. They keep, you know, pointing out that there's a whole bunch of snakes here. Probably in these tall grasses is why. But I did not bring my boots, so I'm trying to be as quiet and careful as possible. And these banana plants have grown so much since we put them in, and this one is actually getting quite tall. It has a whole new little leaf here, so this will just hopefully open itself up soon and continue growing, and hopefully we'll even get some bananas. If we do get bananas from each of these trees, we are going to be able to make banana bread, banana cakes, banana ice cream, whatever it is with bananas, because we have, I think, like 8 banana plants right now, 2 of which need to be transplanted out. And watching my step very closely. Alright guys, so that is everything growing in the food forest besides our yucca trees, or our yucca little tiny plants. They're not really trees. I'm not going to go over there and show you guys for the simple reason that they don't look any different than last time. They're still kind of little sticks. They have a few leaves on them, and I am actually getting eaten alive out here with all these mosquitoes. I did not wear the appropriate clothing for this, and I did not bring my boots or any sort of like pest repellents. So I'm going to wrap this video up. Thanks so much for watching. I love being able to share this with you guys. I am a complete beginner at food forests. If you have any suggestions on staking trees, if you have any suggestions on, you know, using fertilizer, worm castings, any of that, and just getting a bigger harvest from fruit trees, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I would love to hear that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.